And we are live. Hey, everybody. I am Haley Graham, the founder of the Women's Entrepreneur Network. And I am here with one of our amazing All Access Pass members. This is Lil Barcaski. And she is a phenomenal ghostwriter and publisher. And she has been at this for a long time. Welcome, Lil. Hold on just a second. We'll be right back. Let's do this. Welcome, Lil. So happy to have you here.
Happy to be here.
So this is going to be a fun conversation because we were chatting before this, and Lil publishes books and ghostwrites books and does all the things, and we were talking about like some of the most common mistakes people are making when writing books, and I think we could have gone on for hours. So let's start from the top. When we talk about mistakes that people are making when they are publishing books, what is the most common, most expensive, most painful mistake that people make?
Oh, Haley, there's so many. Where to start?
Where do you start, right? It's like a minefield.
We're a publishing services company for the most part. There are three kinds of publishing. Well, there's four really, but there's traditional, which means you have to be like a famous person, and then you wait forever to get there, and almost nobody gets there. And they take most of your money anyway. They take very high royalties. There's hybrid publishing, and most of the hybrid publishers, which we do occasionally, will take some amount. It could be anywhere from as low as $1,000 to $5,000, and then they retain your royalties and your book because your book is on their accounts, not yours. Which means every time you try to buy a book, you have to go through them. And often they will upsell that book. If the book actually costs $4 to ship to you, they'll charge you $6. You don't have access to buy more books. We're a publishing services company. The only other thing is Vanity Press, which will tell you, we'll publish your book for free. Absolutely, we love your book, no matter what it was, no matter what you did. But they expect you to buy at least 500 copies at full price. So you're out 10 grand before you get started. And then you have 500 copies of books in your garage and no one's buying. So that's really what a vanity press is for the most part. So we are publishing services, not to be confused with any of those things. I equate it with this. If your transmission goes in your car, and you go down to the mechanic, he'll charge you $2,500 or whatever it is, fix your transmission. He doesn't expect to drive your car Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's your car. We put your accounts together with you. We put your files on your accounts. You get your royalties. You buy your books. We show you how to buy them at a discount. We help you with all of that. So the mistake people make is not understanding those differences. And then they get wrapped up into either they try to do it themselves, and then they pick and choose people from Fiverr, from whatever. Their cousin in a skate, for a sandwich and a skateboard. Well, I'll do it for you. And they wind up having so many mistakes in how the files are supposed to be created, how the files are uploaded, spines, bleeds, all the things that my designers understand because they're much smarter than I am. I'm only smarter in that I hire them. And then the rest of it is, what do? I've seen so many people get wrapped up into, one lady, she spent $15,000. She had no control of her books whatsoever. She was out tons of money and couldn't even get her own books and wasn't making anything. So you have to be cautious. Shop around. I don't buy a pair of pants on Amazon until I've seen 16 different versions of them. Shop around. Look at what you're looking for. Get the best price. People with great reputations. Don't get excited and jump into something and wind up, buying something you can't get out of, and you have a book you can never control.
Right. And we were talking a little bit before about ISBNs. So that is kind of one of the biggest, I would say, landmines that people run into. So even if you manage to format your book correctly, blah, 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 if you make this mistake,
do not buy your ISBN at Amazon. Do not. Go to Bowker, which is actually BOWKER. The website is myidentifiers.com. Now, if you're in Canada, it's free. In America, it's going to cost you money for ISBNs. You do not need an ISBN for your Kindle, for your ebook. You do for the print and the hardcover, right? And it would cost you roughly, I think it's I'm going to guess here. I think it's $150 per, or you can buy them in bulk. Obviously, we buy them in hundreds because we publish minimally 4 books a month. So, you do the math. And a lot of them are hardcover, especially our children's illustrated books. They want both, right? So we have to assign a lot of them. So when I run out of 100, I buy the next 100. But you might behoove you to buy 10 of them and spend a little more money and get them cheaper because someday you might want to do another book, another book. They're there forever. So it may be smarter
Right.
to buy them in at least 10 of them, and they'll charge you, that's less than 300, I think, for 10 of them. So now you're spending $30 an ISBN, and you'll have them. And God willing, you'll do a second and third book, or you'll, whatever. So, but when you give it to Amazon and you buy it from Amazon rather, and you do everything on Amazon and put your files nowhere but Amazon, they have all the control. The price changing, there's no way to get around. They decide to drop your book, you're stuck, and you can't. They don't like to distribute to other people. We also do Ingram Spark for the print books, and that's a better distribution. They actually have a thing now where you can put a link directly to Ingram Spark and have your people on your website buy directly from them, which saves you money because in the reality is that actually they do the printing and shipping as opposed to that other middleman like Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Books a Million. But your book will be everywhere. That's the thing. Walmart, Kmart, all the places that you want it to be will be available online if you don't tie into Amazon and have them have unlimited control of you. So that's a real big thing to watch for.
Right. Because I think a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to publish my book and it's going to be popular and it's going to go blah, blah, blah. And then they get the ISBN through Amazon and they don't realize that just locked them in.
Locked them in. You got to remember, like 15, 20 years ago, or however long it was, I don't know. I lost track of what day this is. But
Mm-hmm.
you had CreateSpace. That was the only way that people would self-publish a book was CreateSpace, and everybody got excited. And Amazon had what,
Right.
40, I think, designers on staff at that point. They fired all of them in one fell swoop because they realized it was a waste of their money and time to do that. They don't want to be in the business of publishing books. They want to be in the business of selling books. So they prefer someone else to do that work, which is now you or your
Mm-hmm.
designer or your people, and then you upload the files to them, and you need to know what files work properly. Is it an EPUB file? Is it a Kindle PF? We call it not PDF, but a KDF, a Kindle Direct file. What files are you supposed to use? What fonts are allowed? Since the fact that you don't have to buy a Kindle Fire anymore to look at a book, you can download the app onto your phone, onto your devices, onto whatever. The fonts have to be more limited because not everybody has all the fonts in the world. So if you want Comic Sans, God help you, then you won't probably see your book. That's nice to have a funky, funny fonts, but it's going to look like crap, or it's not going to download right, or you're going to see some of the words and not others. A couple of years back, we realized that somebody had a weird font and we didn't recognize it, and the first letter of every paragraph was just gone. It was Gonzville. So kind of funny. If was a the was hit. So shit. So we had oh my gosh. Well, I bet we better use Times New Roman or Arial or something real simple. And you have to be a little more cautious about that. Your print book can have whatever you want because it doesn't matter, right? Because it's being printed, but your ebook is not the same.
Right. Exactly. And, so let's go back to the ISBN thing again, because I want to hammer on that just a little bit because you kind of glossed over and said, okay, you don't want Amazon to own all the rights, but if it's on Amazon and they have the ISBN, it cannot go to Barnes and Noble or Books a Million or any of these other locations.
I wouldn't say it cannot. I would say that I don't think, I'll be honest with you, they don't want it to. Right? They don't want to carry it because it's not. They have to now. You're losing money. It's everybody's. What's left? $1 when you're all done.
Right.
And it's smart to have control of your book in every way possible. Have your own accounts. Look, guys. I mean, if you think you've got the next Harry Potter series, God bless you. Try to get a real publisher, a traditional publisher. And again, it's going to take you years for that to happen. If you're writing a business book about, I don't know, your sales techniques or whatever. That's my dog. He had to be in the show. Will we in the show? Okay, good. If that kind of thing, it's not, you're not using that book with the idea that you're going to sell thousands and thousands of copies. You might randomly sell a couple hundred copies if it's a good topic and somebody says, hey, that sounds interesting, but you're using the book for a purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you know that's the case, then you want to have control of that book as much as conceivable. Example, the lady I just told you about who's got the big book. There's a pretty good chance she's selling it to a conference with 1,200 people. They need 1,200 copies of that book. Right? So if the book, like if she could ship that book, 1,200 of them for $6 a book and she sells it to them for 10, she's made 4 times 1,200 people to show up and speak. Doesn't suck. If somebody else had control of that, had the ISBN, had whatever, you're stuck. So the more that you can have your own control of things, not have somebody like Amazon take over everything, where it gets distributed. Not everybody wants to buy everything on Amazon, believe it or not.
Right.
I do, but not everybody does. So, Barnes and Noble, they love. So you want to be able to have your book available other places. If you let
Hmm.
Amazon have total control, that's not probably going to happen so easily. Or to
Right.
be able to change anything or to fix anything. It's a lot more difficult.
Right. So let's talk about, you know, expectations with a book. Like, what's it going to do for you? Because people are like, oh, I'm going to be a international best-selling author. Can
Sorry.
we get a repeat of that, please?
What'd you
For
say?
those in the back, I said, can we get a repeat of that? There we go.
As we used to say back in the 20s when I was a different person in my past lives, that and a nickel will get you on the subway. Look, here's the thing. Yes, it's nice to be an Amazon bestseller.
Right.
You've been in a compilation book. We do tons of them. We've done probably 15 of them at this point over the last couple of years. I don't know how many I've lost track. Yeah, and they're all Amazon bestsellers because we have 20 people or even 10 who are telling all their friends to take this free download. That's one way. Some of our authors very legitimately become number one in a category on their own, or they're the number one new release. That's great. And that has to do a lot of times with category. Picking categories that are right for you. Don't pick something weird that has nothing to do with you, but that at the same time have a little bit of a space in it that maybe not everybody downloaded a book in that category on that given day. And we have books that are hanging in there at 4 and 5 and on their own. That's great. But having the Amazon bestseller badge is not necessarily that big a thing. It's a nice thing to have. When somebody comes to me and says they want to write a book, regardless of whether I'm writing it, they're writing it, whatever along the spectrum, I ask them 3 questions. I ask them, one, who's the book for? Who's going to benefit? You need to know that. Like, is this going to be somebody going to learn something, get something, feel better, realize their life is no suckier than yours, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
2, right? The second question I always ask is why you? Like, why should they listen to you? Right? You need to have
Mm-hmm.
some kind of creds, whether it's you're a psychologist with 16 degrees or you're somebody who took a shit kick in your whole life and got through it. And you could show them how to follow you down the pathway. That's just as good a cred for me, right? And
Right.
then the big one, for me, the big one is what's the book going to do for you? And you
Mm-hmm.
need to know that. And if you think the answer is, I'm automatically going to put the book up, just like a website. You make websites, Haley. What is a website but a business card under a rock, right? Until you tell somebody the website is there, no matter how good your SEO is. Very
Mm-hmm.
few people find you any other way than you saying, I have this website. It's a way for people to see who you are. It's a way for them to understand you. Book's no different. If you want to make a book so you can get more speaking engagements, you can, and that's the best way to make money is to speak, right? No matter whether it's this kind of thing or whatever. If you want the book to be something you could sell at the back of the room,
Mm-hmm.
something you can utilize for your courses, something you can give away for courses, something you can give away as a calling card. If you make a book that costs you, make a 120-page book that costs you $4 and give them away everywhere you go, well, that's better by far. So you need to know the answer to that. Hello. I can't read it.
It's mine. It's fearless marketing.
It's your face. Right? So yeah, right.
And
So that
it's my
it's more.
$4 calling card, right?
It's your $4 calling card, right? And some of these books are as little as that. If you buy 100 of them or 50 of them, even you're getting them for $4 or $5 at top. Sometimes even less if it's a small
Mm-hmm.
enough book. And it doesn't have to be a 300-page book. This one we're doing right now, this next one for today, that's going out today, is 324 pages. The one that went out 2 days ago was 146 pages. The one 2 weeks ago was 180 something pages. It's really not. That's not the page count. Doesn't matter. It's what's the content in it, and what's the book going to do for you. So
Mm-hmm.
having an Amazon bestseller thing is nice if you can arrange to get it, but it's not going to sell books. And you're not going to sell books by just randomly putting that up any more than people are going to just find you automatically on the web because you put up a website and said, I sell shoes or candles or whatever
Right.
the
And
hell you sell.
it's not going to automatically lead to you being a multimillionaire because you happen to put this book up on Amazon.
No. Stephen King is a multimillionaire. But a lot of other people who write fiction books that are popular aren't multimillionaires. They
Yeah.
might be millionaires. We met Peter Straub and actually had dinner with him at a conference once, and he wrote with Stephen. I've met his son Joe Hill. I don't think either one of them are multimillionaires. Peter passed recently, I don't think Peter Straub died a multimillionaire. He wrote a lot of books, but he wasn't Stephen King, right? Even though he wrote a book with him, he was a millionaire, but maybe not a multi.
Mhm.
So that's not probably going to happen with your business book. You might, but it might happen if you are the next, Grant Cardone or something, and you're going to be out speaking, and you could get 1,000 people to come to a stadium. And then you want 10 books. You're going to just keep writing books, and there might be 150 pages about a specific thing about what you do. But that's not going to happen. And I'm not trying to be negative. It just expectations are
No,
important, right?
no. And I mean, and I think that what you do with a book is you're not necessarily going to see 8 million copies sold on Amazon. What you're going to use it for and make that $1 million or that multi-million dollars for, like the Grant Cardones of the world, is, oh, I'm using it for this event or for this speaking engagement or part of my funnel or other purposes. Oh, hell yeah, that'll work in a heartbeat.
Right. And it works if you've got the gravitas, if you are the person that actually has something to offer the world. If
Mhm.
you don't have to be Grant Cardone to write a book and get something out of it and be really good. One of my
Mhm.
clients teaches a course that she has 14 people signed up. Actually, she was very worried no one was going to take the course. It's $33,000 a year to be in this wealth building course with her. And she's brilliant. She's an absolute genius. Self-made woman, totally. She wrote the book, and she gives her book, to her clients, and she's selling a lot of copies. She's selling, she'll
Mhm.
sell 700, 800 copies, in the first week or two, maybe even 1,000. But it legitimizes the $33,000 course that she has, and it's just another piece of the puzzle. And when she put
Absolutely.
that out there, 14 people signed. She had 40 people apply, and she chose 14 that were legitimately in the right category. They make 5 million plus a year, and they have certain, there's certain parameters she wanted to deal with, so they want to be multi-millionaires, and she is a multi-millionaire. But that's she. Here's how to become one, right? So, yeah, and that book will sell, and it's selling nicely, but it's not going. The book isn't going to make her again a multi-millionaire. She's already a multi-millionaire. So the book
Right.
was a tool, right? Make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, and that's just one of the things that I wanted to like hammer on a little bit, because I see a lot of people that think that, you're just going to put it up and ta-da, it's going to be millions of sellers. And we wish, but
You're better
you
off
know,
spending all that money on lottery tickets and hope for the best. Truthfully, you spend 10 or 15
absolutely.
grand throwing on lottery tickets and hope you win.
Hmm.
Maybe you win enough to get your money back. That's what I say. And that's not to be.
Yeah.
We have every book we have. I think in almost every book we've ever produced, and we produced an awful lot of them. If you go to Amazon and put in GWN Publishing, just that in the search bar, those are our books, all of them, and that's not even all of them. So all of those people have in some way or another made a success of their book. They've done something with it that's successful, that was worth the time and the effort and whatever money they put out to make it happen. And that's a
Yeah.
good thing.
And it's, it's an important part of your marketing process, your marketing stuff, your collateral, your pieces and your parts. And I think that writing a book can be hugely powerful if you take it with that understanding of what it can do and what it cannot do for your business.
And then you've got something to play with as a marketing person. It's one more thing for you as a person who can do marketing. Here's another thing I can utilize. It's also your mothership. It's a lot easier for your social
Absolutely.
media managers, for you when you have to do a speech. We just did a book called Huddle Up that came out, as I said last week,
Mhm.
and I had to work with her on her speech. So we took stuff from the book and we worked on her speech and created her slide decks. Everything you need can be in that mothership in that book. Every time you're stuck for a post, oh, what am I going to talk about today? Go pull a sentence or two out of your book about something that's impactful. Pull a pull quote out. Makes it's there for you to utilize in 100 different ways.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's one of the things that I was talking about recently on my Facebook page, and I think it's a, possibly a project that we're going to work together on. Um, I have a client that we're working on search engine optimization for. And so I've created an outline for a book, and we're going to be creating articles and pages and content for SEO, and also turning that into content for the book, following the table of contents, and then, turning that into social media posts for days and years. And oh, look, we got SEO out of it, we got a funnel out of it. And then we're going to come to y'all, get it published, and then be able to send that to people who, want more information about, the products and the services we're offering. And ta-da, we've achieved SEO, we've achieved years of content, we've achieved a ton of stuff with Pinterest, a book, a funnel, and, all this collateral all in one go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an extra product, and it's an extra stream of revenue because you can sell the book. You can
Mm-hmm.
sell it from the back of the room and sign it. You can
Absolutely. And
sell
it
it
can be
to
used
a
a lot
conference
of
might say,
different ways.
I like that one lady for 1,200, 1,200 copies would be lovely. If they've got 100 people coming, they don't want to pay you to be in the conference. Your book costs $5. Sell it to them for 10. The $500 difference is yours. Now you've made
Yeah,
$500 to stand on stage, and the 100 people have your book. And it's a great
absolutely.
gift to give the people in the conference for $10 a person. They might get somebody to underwrite that. You might get somebody to underwrite it by putting their bookmark in it or their
Mm-hmm.
calling card. Say, this particular person, this coach wants to pay for the $1,000 because they want that 100 people to know about them. So then you let them put flyers in the book and send or whatever it might be. There's ways to make money with your book that are not just hopeful sales on randomly on the internet.
Yeah, 1,000%. So many things you can do. I want to say thank you so much for being an All Access Pass member, having this conversation with me today. I hope that we do more of these types of conversations to really educate people about books and publishing and doing all the things marketing wise and getting your business visible, because there's so many things that if you do it right and you work with somebody who's reputable and somebody who knows what they're actually doing, it can make a massive impact on your business. Thank you, Lil. How would somebody go about getting in touch with you?
Oh, sure. Well, one of my primary things that I do, besides the fact that I own this publishing company, and like I said, some publishing services, is I'm a ghostwriter. And if you need somebody to ghostwrite or to help you develop a book or edit, heavy edit, my proofreaders take care of the grammar because I suck at that. So the way to get a hold of me is because I am a ghostwriter. It's Calendly, and most of you know what Calendly is. And if you go to calendly.com and / it's Lil the Ghost, because I am a ghostwriter. The Lil the Ghost for ghostwriting on Calendly. And I always happy to talk to people. Just put in the comments that you saw me here or whatever. And if you have any questions about how to write a book, what to write, whether you should bother to write a book, what the process is, we'll be happy to talk to you.
Awesome. And I did put the link in the description for the video, and we're going to be posting it in the group as well. So thank you so much for being here, Lil. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And we will see y'all shortly. Thanks.